city sailor want a hump bar, or is this getaway day and your last shot at his whiskey? Sell crazy someplace else. We're all stocked up here.
You want answers?
I think I'm entitled.
You want answers?
I want the truth!
You can't handle the truth. Can somebody tell me what kind of world we live in where a man dressed up as a bat gets all of my press? This town needs an enema.
So that was the opening.
It was okay.
And let's see, is anybody watching? Penny is here. Good evening, Penny.
Hi, Penny.
We're going to be celebrating, of course, Jack Nicholson. It was his birthday.
It is his birthday in 4 days. 4 days.
4 days.
40 seconds.
And we're going to try to do this every month, find one specific actor to celebrate. Classic actor. Nicholson goes back to the 50s. The guy's been acting that long. It's pretty hard to believe. His first movie was Crybaby Killer, low budget film. And he met the man who would change the direction of his career, Roger Corman. While making that film, they became friends. And Corman put him in a little film called Little Shop of Horrors. A film that he shot in over a weekend? I think that was it. Wasn't that what it was?
What?
Martin, I think it was like over a weekend.
I don't know. But
from what I understand, he shot it over between 2 and 4 days.
You know, until this very moment, I was convinced that was his first movie.
No, Crybaby Killer was his first movie. But the film that got him attention, got him out there, was Roger Corman's Little Shop of Horrors. Was kind of a little hit. And it also established a relationship between the two because Corman had great admiration for the guy. Really liked him on a personal level and professional level. And of course, Jack, by working with Corman, picked up a lot of knowledge. And easily, he could have slipped into being a director rather than being an actor.
He did plan that at one point. He was like, "Yeah, I'm done with acting. I'm just going to direct," because it didn't really take.
He had finished by the time he had done the movie that made his career, which was in 1969. He was in the film Easy Rider. He had decided that that's it. I'm finished. I'm done. I've played every character I could. I've officially dealt with all my demons. And now I think I've learned enough to where I want to focus on directing. And he was going to go that direction, but the jobs kept coming. And of course, when you're making money and you have to keep making money, you keep doing the work. So Nicholson continued following his career as an actor. He was doing writing here and there. In fact, he was given freedom to rewrite dialogue in many of the projects he was in. And but by 1969, he thought he was going to be done acting. Told one of his best friends, "I'm done. Now I want to just direct." But he never really went in that direction. He only directed 4 films his whole career. And he directed The Terror with, I do believe it was Boris Karloff. And there were multiple directors on it because there were basically a bunch of short stories. And Francis Ford Coppola directed one of the segments as well. And then he went on to direct Drive, he said, back in 1971. It didn't pan out for him. So he didn't try directing again until years later in 78. He did the film Going South with John Belushi is in it. It's a funny little film. I like the movie. And he stars in it and he directed it. I think that was the problem. He kept wanting to be in the film that he directed. And his final direction was in the movie The Two Jakes, which was the sequel to Chinatown, written by the same guy who wrote the original screenplay for Chinatown, Robert Towne. But because of his choice to direct it, and even in the 80s, there was rumors that Harrison Ford may take over the role of Jake Gittes. Because
it was too much work to do both?
It's his age. It was Nicholson's age that was concerning. But he wanted to play that part because he made that character. He didn't create him, but he made him. Robert Towne created the character that Nicholson made. And so he decided to break away from Robert Towne, and he directed it. And it ended their friendship, their 20-year friendship. They never spoke again.
That's sad.
To this point. And I think Robert Towne passed away. I'll go double check. I think we lost Robert Towne. Nope, he's still alive. Still hating Jack Nicholson. And the two of them had met because of Roger Corman. You know, so it's sad because that was I like that film personally.
A friendship shouldn't go down like that. That's just really sad.
But he's, you know, look, he's played a gamut of characters, and you got to watch that documentary with me about him. That, you know, a lot of his early roles were really kind of there to be a catharsis for him. In fact, when he plays Jake Gittes, there's that scene where he's slapping her around. He's like, I want the truth now. I want you to stop lying to me. Who is she? She's my daughter.
Yes.
Smack. She's my daughter. She's my sister. She's my daughter. She's my sister. And in his own life, at the same time, he learned due to an article that had been published that the woman he had always considered his sister was actually his mother. And the grandparents that raised him, that he thought were his parents, were just his grandparents. He never learned who his father was. He had like really dark stuff that happened to him from what really was such a really good family. They were all very close knit.
It was a pretty common thing in the 30s to do that. For the grandparents to pretend it's their baby, to not raise.
Because the daughter got knocked up
at 16.
And at 16, they sent her away to New York, and they were in New Jersey. They sent her to New York to have the baby. When she came back, they just said it was their kid. And that was the end of that story. But Nicholson found out it was all a lie in 1974 while he was making that film, Chinatown.
Yeah, he was in his 30s when he found that out. That's so wrong.
Yeah.
To keep it from him so long.
On top of that, with Chinatown, there's another thing that occurred that's more amusing than anything, is that there's an echo of life, real life, in the scene where he confronts the villain in the story, played by John Huston. And unbeknownst to John Huston, Nicholson was seeing his daughter, Angelica Huston. They had already started a relationship. And John Huston asks him in the scene, "Are you fucking my daughter?" And the scene goes great, but there's a story of how he stopped an actor and he says, "Man, I've had a surreal day." And Nicholson says, "You want a surreal day? Listen to this one. I'm sitting there doing a scene with John Huston," and tells the whole thing and the way it unfolds. And he's like, he's sitting there and he asked me if I'm fucking his daughter. And I wanted to say, As a matter of fact, John, I am.
That would have been funny and a bit weird.
And weird. But there are lots of really weird things like that. Like in the film 5 Easy Pieces, which is a classic film. He's a failed pianist, and he's trying to go back and deal with family and his father and make peace with his dad, because he was destined to be this concert pianist, and he broke the mold and said, screw you, I'm going to do what I want, and left. And he's just been working odd jobs, working at like an oil rig. And he finally comes back to confront his dad, and the entire scene where he finally meets with his dad to break down why he feels the way he feels. The writer-director gave him the freedom to write that scene himself based off of his own feelings about his father. And so when you see that scene, directed by Bob Rafelson, by the way, and he co-wrote the script, Nicholson wrote that entire scene where he confronts his dad, who's in a wheelchair. And it really was, once again, it was very cathartic for him. He found catharsis through acting, you know. And I am like a real fan of Nicholson, have been since I was a little kid. I just love Jack Nicholson. I grew up on Hammer films and Roger Corman films, and absolutely loved Nicholson in his movies. He has one of the funniest scenes in Little Shop of Horrors. He's the character that Bill Murray would play years later in the remake by Frank Oz. Oh, Gerry, what's up, Zax? I wish you were here, Zax, because I'm such a fan of Nicholson.
I sent you the link, Zax. You can join if you have time, even if it's just for a bit.
I see DJ Play Nice is here as well. It's good to see everybody. Of course, our dear friend Andy Morrow is here. Good morrow.
And Kingspot Cloud has joined.
And D-Bud Martin is here, of course. Let's see who else jumped in.
You know it's made in Britain, right?
Oh, I'm going to tell you something, D-Bud. That is not true. I do not. My mother used to give us kids enemas at least once a month, and we'd cry through that. That was a horrible experience. I hated that shit.
And I need it.
Literally and figuratively. Kingsport Cal is here. Gerry grew up on Slim Jims and porn magazines. I'll tell you one thing. There was no internet when we were kids. We found our porn in the woods.
Jesus. That has to come out once in a while.
You'd wander out in the woods and you'd find like an old box, like wood box, sitting there, and underneath it or next to it was some fucking like rained on magazines, porn. And we're like, who comes out here to do this? This is like really weird. But that's how we would find porn all the time as kids. Hobos, I don't know who the fuck they were, teenagers that needed to get away from the house. I don't know, man. That was some crazy stuff. You have some found porn stories. I'd like to hear them, actually, Zax. It's really crazy. One of my favorite porn stories was my dad. My dad said, I never had porn in the house. I was and my brother Mike and I double teamed him in this argument. Just went at him going, what do you think? We found the porn on your side of the bed under the mattress. We knew it was there. We'd sneak it out when you were at work and then put it back before you got home. We'd sit up in the furnished attic where my brothers and I would stay. Well, I stayed in the bedroom downstairs, but my brothers had the upstairs bedroom in the attic. And we'd go up there and read these magazines, man. My dad did that. And so this is an ongoing fight. And he was like, that's not true. That wasn't mine. I don't know what you're talking about. Finally, I found a photo of my dad and I put it in his face of him holding a Playboy magazine. Playboy's not porn.
Why would there be a photo of that?
He was sitting there like a cigarette in one hand and cigarette, beer in one hand and Playboy in the other one. He wasn't holding up the show for the camera. He'd been reading it, and so he closed it and was holding it with one hand, and it ended up in the photo with him. And It's on that same couch I've shown you in other photos. And I used to have the photo, and I just don't have it anymore. But I had it while he was alive, and that was my evidence. And he still said, that's not porn. We're like, there was naked women in there. And they had big old jumblies. I'm just telling you, we like that. And it's because of that, I told you I had a weird fixation when I was young with women that got me into trouble.
Yeah, there's nothing weird about you now, Gerry. We all know that.
Not at all. Nothing.
Nope.
But going back, I'm just going to mention some standout films from his career that just stuck with me as a kid. And he made a lot of TV appearances during the 60s. Yep. Because his first job was working on matinee theater. He had a bit part as a musician's son. And then he got a starring part in The Crybaby Killer as Jimmy Wallace. He got to play this character named Buddy in another low-budget film called Too Soon to Love, a romantic film. And then he went to TV, and he was on Mr. Lucky, which I've watched some of that show. It's a really good show. Bit part's another film called The Wild Ride, which I've never seen. But then he was in The Little Shop of Horror. He played Wilbur Force, the creepy character that likes to have dental work done without Novocaine. He wants to feel it.
Crazy scene. And they both do it so well, him and Murray. I like both of them in that role.
Yeah, they both pull it off. Nicholson is hilarious in it. Then he did some more TV shows. He was in actually a made-for-TV movie version of Studs Lonigan. Tales of Wells Fargo. I watched that series on what is that? What's that free TV series? TV channel, Western one. I forget what it's called, but they have it on there. You can go watch it on there. Another TV show called Bronco. Just a bunch of stuff. Hawaiian Eye, The Broken Land, Little Amy. But then came a film that he did with Roger Corman called The Raven, which was just a fun film. I love that movie. It's hilarious. Vincent Price, Peter Lorre, and Boris Karloff. And Jack Nicholson plays this young heroic character. And then he was in the sequel to Mr. Roberts called Ensign Pulver, which was everybody's recast. And Nicholson plays one of the sailors in that. He plays Yeoman Dolan. He just a bunch of bit parts then. And then he got to star in his own movie that he helped get produced called The Shooting. And The Shooting, I'm not sure if that was the one. No, it's Ride the Whirlwind, his next film, where he worked with a great actor. Let me find it here. Harry Dean Stanton, and he became friends because of that movie. But Cameron Mitchell was in it too. But it was, gosh, I am trying to find the actor. There it is. Warren Oates is in The Shooting. And Warren and he became close friends after making that movie together. And then he made the film Ride the Whirlwind, where he plays the main character again. He was in Hell's Angels on Wheels, which was a low-budget Roger Corman produced film. Roger Corman's St. Valentine's Day Massacre. He played Gino the Hitman. And then he did some more TV spots, including even Andy Griffith, by the way. And then he played, this is the thing that got to him. He didn't like playing hippies. And he felt like he was getting typecast towards the end of playing hippies, strung out hippies.
He was also getting too old for that.
So he turned around and he produced in the film Head, which was the movie about the Monkees, the band that was basically the American Beatles. They were the prefabricated five or four, the prefab five. And then he did the film Easy Rider, which Easy Rider is the film that changed everything for him. Even though it's a hippie film, he played a different kind of character. He got to, he loved the script, but he really got to turn it into his own thing. And he acted a little wacky, and he brought his personality to the character. And he's basically playing like a version of himself in Easy Rider. And a little bit crazy, a little bit cocky, and always funny. And then he's in a low-budget film called Rebel Rousers. It wasn't very good. But then he started a film that my dad and I are both fans of, with Barbra Streisand, called On a Clear Day You Can See Forever. It's about a woman who believes that she's been reincarnated. And while she's seeing a therapist, she gets to go back in time and see herself in these different roles. And it's great music, got great music, great song. Well, On a Clear Day You Can See Forever is a fantastic song. And Nicholson plays one of the guys that she's close friends with in the film. And I felt like that was an interesting stretch for him because he got away from playing those, the typical hippie character, the fallen out, long-haired, strung-out hippie. And then came 5 Easy Pieces, which was a cathartic film for him. And like I said, the director allowed him to write the scene where he confronts his dad. And it's one of those great moments for him. And then he started a film called Carnal Knowledge, which is, it's a taboo film. The subject matter, because there was interest at the time of giving it an X because of some of the sexual stuff going on in the film. But they got it down to where people could see it. It was directed by Mike Nichols. And he plays a character that just is an echo of who he really is. And everybody, including people who were in the documentary about him, said, yeah, that movie is him. It's all him. He's playing himself. That's who he is. And it's also a film that brought Art Garfunkel out of music and led to the breakup of Simon and Garfunkel. Rita Moreno's in it, Anne Margaret, Candice Bergen, Carol Kane, both of them are young. My God. And then he did a film called The King of Marvin's Garden, which is a great movie. But it's the last detail, and I love this film. 2 Navy men are ordered to bring a young offender to prison, but decide to show him one last good time before he goes away to prison. And it stars Nicholson, Randy Quaid, and Otis Young. Otis Young and Nicholson are the 2 SPs that are going to escort him. And you got the classic role of the cop played by Clifton James in it. Michael Moriarty, this is an early film for him. And again, Carol Kane was in this movie. He tended to work with a lot of people over and over, which was kind of a lesson he learned from Roger Corman.
Because Roger Corman.
Yep. And Gilda Radner's in that movie. She was young. And she's in the movie The Last Detail. Nancy Ellen, from RoboCop, was in it.
Yeah.
And Gerry.
Nope.
What?
Nancy Ellen was in Gerry.
Oh, yeah. But RoboCop is what she's best known for.
That's also where I would have seen her.
And that was in 1973. And it was a great film where he, again, basically was asked to play himself. So everything you see on screen is just Nicholson being Nicholson. Then he played a role that was nothing like him. The catharsis was over, and he played Jake Gittes, the detective in Chinatown, which I consider really probably his greatest film, his best performance, and best movie that he was in. It is also, in my opinion, the last good film from the director Roman Polanski.
Well, he got in trouble like a couple of years after that.
Yeah, 3 years later, he was involved in a statutory RAPE situation. He was going to plead guilty to it until he got a report back to him from his attorney that the prosecuting attorney was going to reject the plea bargain that they had worked out and written out, and was going to then go heavy-handed, and he was going to go to prison. And when that happened, he chicken shit and ran because he knew he was guilty.
Oh, he was.
And he tried to use the excuse that, well, I wasn't the only one that slept with her. It's like, oh, well, that makes it okay that you slept with a 13-year-old. But I will say that it led to one of my favorite jokes in high school. And I remember telling it to my classmates, Jim Woodward, Mike Beatty, David Gray, Mike Vida, all those guys. I said, hey, do you know what goes into 13 twice? And they all went, nothing. And I went, yeah, Roman Polanski. Lunchroom said that joke. 1978, I made that joke. Roman Polanski, of course, fled the United States. He's tried to say that the life he's had hiding out has been like prison. It's like, no, it's not. No, it's not. Don't say that. You don't get away with that. No. So I pretty much never wanted to see any more films by him. But there is one more film I've seen of his that I can't help but like, even though I hate his guts.
That?
A little film with Harrison Ford.
Oh.
What were you going to say?
I thought you were going to say Carnage. 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 Yeah.
Carnage. I don't think I know that film.
Oh,
I don't think I know that film.
I think it's the last one.
When did he make it?
Oh, let me find it. Oh my God, my browser is so slow today.
And a lot of people don't know this, that until the silent film star died, Harrison Ford went by Harrison J. Ford.
Okay, it's from 2011. Jodie Foster, Kate Winslet, Christoph Waltz, and John C. Reilly.
Yeah, see, I wouldn't see it because I refuse to watch his films. The only film that I watched that I kind of forgive myself for watching and liking was the film that he did in the 80s with Harrison Ford. It's called Frantic. And here I'll share screen.
Shame about the 2011 movie, though. Seems a good cast.
It's a good movie.
This film is outstanding. I love the soundtrack by Maurice Jarre. Everybody in this cast, it's just such a good film. And I really liked it because Betty Buckley plays Sandra Walker, Dr. Richard Walker's wife. And when he goes to take a shower and he's talking to her through the shower, he says, I ain't shaving just for drill, is one of my favorite lines in the film. And she goes, someone's at the door. I'll be right back. And she's called out of the room. She yells at him, I'm going to go down to the desk. She never comes back, and she's disappeared. And the police think, make it sound like, well, maybe she has another lover from the last time you were here. And he goes, and he's getting frustrated because nobody's listening to him, And so he begins to investigate to find out where his wife went, and he discovers conspiracy and where his wife is, and he's got to figure a way of getting her back, and he needs this girl's help, and it deals with a device that's used in a nuclear weapon. And you're dealing with factions that are kind of a terrorist organization, as well as the Israeli Mossad, trying to stop it from falling into the terrorist hands. Absolutely. I recommend this film, even though I despise Roman Polanski. I'm like, the cast and the script, is just really good. And of course, this was written by Robert Towne, who is like one of my favorite screenwriters of all time. So if you get a chance to see this movie, go see it. It's a good flick.
Yes, it is. I saw it mid-90s, I think.
D-Bud, that is actually the same time I saw it. It's 1984. I was 20 years old, man. And it came on TV because of the whole revival of the Monkees. So that got played on MTV, and I ended up watching it. And I'm like, that's a weird fucking movie. No wonder it tanked. That is a weird movie. And there's really no great songs in it either. It's a really disappointing film. I haven't seen Carnal Knowledge since the early 80s. I've seen it since then. I've seen it in the 20 teens because it's one of those films that when I want to talk about it with somebody, I'll go back and revisit the film and watch it. And for me, like, I remember a woman said to me one time, I don't understand why you can watch movies more than once. That's crazy. And I went, do you listen to songs you like? And she's like, yeah, it's the same thing to me. It's just a longer song.
Yeah, a song is like 3 minutes, a movie is 2 hours.
Yeah, it's 10 times longer. Well, 8 times longer. But the thing is, you know, it's really good. I remember Frantic. I seen the box at the video store. Yeah, I remember. I actually bought it on VHS. I bought it from a what do you call it? Used, because it was the video rental place. And after a movie's been rented so many times, they would put them for sale for like $5, and I bought that shit.
Kingsport has a question for you.
Civil War.
No, I have not. I don't really intend to because I saw past what they were trying to do. I saw past. I knew what they were doing. It's a political film, and I cannot watch political films from Hollywood. I just don't like them. They give their politics and then shit on the politics of the middle of the country, and it's like, I expect that from them. I'm not shocked by it. But I'm not giving them my money, and even though I could watch it for free right now, I just I'm not interested in it. 3 of the people that I trust their reviews, like Mr. H is one of them, Dave Cullen, everybody's kind of shit on it, and I'm like, the guys I trust don't like it. I'm not gonna like it, so I'm not gonna bother. I heard that the combat scenes were really good. So if somebody could give me the edited version of the film with just the combat scenes.
Oh my God. Read this one.
If they made a sequel to Head from the people who gave you Head was going to be the tagline. I like that one, Tim. I like that one. You're going places, mister.
That's true, Kingspot Cal. It happens sometimes when Gerry watches a movie with me and it's a first watch for me, and he would discover things he never picked up.
I'll go back and I'll go, wait a minute, what did I just see? I'll go back and shit. Yep. I've watched Real Genius, I'd say between 50 and 100 times, anywhere in that area. I worked at a 7-Eleven when 7-Eleven was trying to do the video rental thing. And we were allowed to get free viewing of films before they hit the shelf when we got them in. And I took Real Genius home, connected 2 of my VCRs, and got one of those. I forget what that thing's called. It's not a splitter. It's a thing that blocks the anti-copy thing. And I copied it so I could have my own copy on VHS. Although I got to say that the copy I made kept having problems at the top of the screen, with the line. It's slightly off, and you couldn't fix it. But I didn't care. I'm watching Val Kilmer being fucking awesome. But Real Genius is like one of my favorite films, and I've showed that to Anima. Did we talk about that yet on the show?
I don't think so. I don't remember watching it.
We got to do a Saturday show on that one.
Yeah,
Real Genius is just
great. Here and there, because mainly we were talking about Val, but never have focused only on the movie.
That one. Now I know. Yeah, we have to do a Saturday show about that one. That's a great movie.
I like that scientist when he says, what was his name in the film? I forget the character's name.
Don't ask me names.
Because he's acting kind of goofy. He's got the antennas on his head and everything. Yeah. He goes, I didn't want to be stiff like most scientists. And he goes, you are so-and-so. And he goes, I sure hope so. I'm wearing his underwear.
Yeah.
Oh man, I love the part when they're talking to the antagonist via the microphone, hidden in his office, and one last time, stop playing with yourselves. Oh, it's real! It's real!
When he's talking like God. Yeah.
The best thing though is the ending of Real Genius.
I put that
under
B for toy. A never-ending attempt at oh my god, the dialogue in that. I'm forgetting all the dialogue. But Real Genius. You know what? Because Tom and I are doing. What are we doing this Saturday?
Highlander.
We're doing Highlander, and
Highlander.
We may have to preempt the show and push it to another day. Tom thinks he's going to be able to be there, but if something is, because there's some stuff going down I don't want to talk about with a certain person we all know that's being a jackass, and for some reason this person is targeting my friend Tom, and it's like if things continue the way they are, he may skip the show, and we'll just do it another day, and then I think we should do Real Genius this weekend. Of course, This means extra work for Martin because he's got to then make the slideshow.
I'm doing at this moment rock and roll, and now are you changing the show again? Twice the same day?
Fuck it.
God damn it.
You just picked a different movie if Tom can't make it today.
You expect consistency with all this amazing genius? Come on. Hey, if you can't get it done, don't worry about it, man. We can do it another weekend. But I do want to do Rock and Rolla. And if Tom isn't able to do the show Saturday, we will do Rock and Roller with Gerard Butler, Idris Elba. Amazing cast.
Oh yeah, that's one thing that I love from Guy Ritchie. His ensemble movies.
Yep. I'm planning to watch this new film, and I'm relishing the moment I get to see it. Kent, have you stopped playing with your? There you go. That was it, Kent. Yeah. Have you stopped playing with yourself? And by the way, all the characters in that film are based on real people that the writer knew from going to school at MIT. And some of the stories are from that. He actually was interested in doing a new series called Real Genius that would tell the whole story and tell even more. And I'm sorry that never happened. I really am, because I thought that would have been fun. Instead we get Big Bang Theory, which is an anti-nerd show where the nerds are made to look like dorks all the time, which is not what all nerds are. There are different kinds of nerds. There's geeks too. The difference between geeks and nerds.
That show has funny moments, but it's not a nerd-friendly show now. Young Sheldon.
No, Keith and I have actually talked ad nauseum on the subject of how much both of us don't like that show. Yet I love Sheldon, Young Sheldon.
Young Sheldon is brilliant.
It's a great show because the showrunner isn't really the showrunner on that. The showrunner from Big Bang Theory is one of the EPs on the show. He's not the showrunner, and so therefore it's a much better show.
And that kid is
Weird Science is another one that I would like to do. Kingsport Cal. Anima, make a note of that, would you please? Weird Science. Oingo Boingo. Come on, man. That's a dope movie, dude. I love that movie. And but Real Genius is absolutely something we got to do. We'll try to do that as soon as possible. Before Halloween, we'll get it in there. And don't worry, Gary O.J. died. I went out on the limb like early in that news story. And I said, right now, Norm Macdonald's in heaven making jokes about him. And the punchline is that OJ and Don Ohlmeyer are nowhere near to get him fired from heaven because they're burning in hell for their conduct. So even though I do wish OJ Simpson would have been truthful and asked for forgiveness for what he did. Maybe he asked God for forgiveness. I don't know if you believe in that. I never watched either True Nerd, Big Bang. There you go. Yeah, Norm got fired because he kept making fun of two people that Don Ohlmeyer liked. Bill Clinton was a friend of his. The Clintons, both of them were friends of Don Ohlmeyer, as well as O.J. Simpson. And Norm Macdonald would just destroy them in fake news, telling real news, but twisting it on them. And just constantly saying they're all guilty, and Don Ohlmeyer personally fired Norm Macdonald. And when he went on, Norm Macdonald went on Dave Letterman, like right after it happened, to tell the story of what happened. And it's so funny. He says, I got called by Don Ohlmeyer. He goes, we really need to talk to him. Oh, this isn't good. This isn't good. He said, this isn't going to be good. He says, I'm going to have to let you go. Oh, no, this is really bad. This is a really bad phone call. And then he says, but the thing that hurt the most is when he says, I asked him, like, why am I being fired? Because you're not funny. Norm Macdonald goes, oh, no, that's the worst part of this phone call. Not that he was fired, but that he was told he wasn't funny by Don Ohlmeyer.
Ouch.
And you should watch that sometime. David Letterman's interview with Norm Macdonald when Norm got fired is one of the best things because it's an opposing network. And so David hated Don Ohlmeyer, hated him. So he was glad, and he called Don Ohlmeyer guilty of quizzling, which, if you know anything about that word, it's hand-wringing and being ineffective, and hand-wringing and being indecisive and causing problems. Absolutely, he's a cautionary tale. Also took advantage of the LA riots. People hated the cops at that time. Dude, man. I was up in Oakland when that happened, doing medical work, and dude, God, that night. I was called out to go to this Laotian family's house, right under part of where the standing portion of the Martin Luther King Bridge was still standing. It wasn't working because it collapsed, but there were still sections that were standing, and their house was like right under that. It was like to the left, and there was a street. And I pull up, and a bunch of young black men came up to my car, and I rolled my window slightly down, doors thankfully locked, because as this guy is talking to me through the window, another dude tried to open the passenger door. And I turned and looked back, and I'm like, oh man, I hope they don't have a gun because I'm fucking dead. And the engine was still running. And the guy was actually really cool with me because I told him I'm here to do medical treatment for a gentleman that lives in his house. And he asked, is he dying? And I went, no, but he's in need of equipment for his oxygen. He goes, what you do is you go get a black guy to bring it here and don't come back. And I went, you know what? I agree with you. I backed out of there, backed up and got the hell out of there. And I told my boss, you can give Oakland to somebody else right now because I'm not going there. I'll go to Tracy. I'll go to El Cerrito. I'll go to some of those towns. Concord. I said, but I'm not going to do night calls in Oakland. I'll do day calls. I won't do night calls.
And the states are crazy.
Yep.
Gringos locos.
Yeah. And you know what? I think the dude that was talking to me, and they're clearly a gang because they all had colors that they're wearing. I can't remember if it was blue or red. I just knew that they all had bandanas. And I just said, thank you. I even thanked him. I went, thank you. And I backed the fuck out of there and did my best backward U-turn. Thank God for the military. That's how I learned how to do that. And got the fuck out of there. And I told my boss, Angelo Oliva, I love that guy, said, I will never go on a call to Oakland. Or, what's the town right next to Oakland? Because it would get just as bad at night.
So you backed out the back door.
You could say that. I
never get anything for my breeches.
Because you're in the panel.
Well, I like your breeches. You look so pretty in them.
Oh.
Jesus Christ.
Snotty with me.
if I were to wear your pants, I would fit with both my legs in one leg.
Richmond was the other town I said I wouldn't do night calls on. Richmond got really bad.
You did it. You even broke out. This is a special day.
There's no such thing as TMI with Gerry. I had to learn that the hard way.
No, D-Bud Martin. It was Richmond. Richmond was the other town I wouldn't go to at night. I told him I'd go to El Cerrito. And Berkeley wasn't a problem. That's where all the fucking lefty fucking hippies were. And that town was kind of craziest thing I ever saw there was fucking street preachers. That shit was wackadoodle. But San Pablo, it was kind of iffy, but Richmond could get rough at night. Every single one of my patients in Richmond had bars on their windows and their door. They had a door, additional door that would lock to the metal frame.
That's like living in a prison.
It is. Terrible. But that's how they had to protect their houses.
That is terrible.
And that was also where one of my patients said, you need to run for office, because she really liked the way I talked about how things are done. Because I was very pro, helping the poor. And I said, it's an easy way of handling this. You don't have socialized medicine doesn't work, but you do this and you force doctors to work so many hours a week. So they do rotations of these doctors that have to do this. And basically one of the things I said also is that they have to show the same skill set in the free clinics as they show in the ones where they get paid. And they're also paid by the government to go there, but less than what they normally make for a patient. And I said, if you could rotate these doctors like that, you would find a form of socialized medicine that would work, but you couldn't do it any other way because it won't work. It just won't work. And oddly, all my fellow, because I'm conservative, but all my conservative friends were like, duh. And I'm like, they could just go to the ER. I said, look, motherfucker, I work in the medical field. And you know what the ER does? If you don't have insurance and you're not dying, they kick you and tell you to come back when you're dying. And there's a 99.9% chance you won't make it back if you're dying. And that's why my Republican friends that have tried to say that it's referred to, are you ready? Backdoor insurance to use the emergency room. And, because a lot of people don't pay their bills at the
You're not getting a video for that.
No. Well, no, it's me. I'm the host. Anima shouldn't get it either because she's a host too. Her name's on the video, remember?
God damn it. I knew there was a catch to that.
Catch to that.
He tricked you.
But you know what? I love you. I love you. So I'm going to
Cal thinks I should get one.
So did anybody else do a breach? Martin, that I've forgotten?
I don't think so.
Okay, this one's for you, baby. Let me pick this one.
Kim, why do you have underpants with a Swiss flag on them?
Swiss? Those aren't Swiss. Those are, they're from the Red Cross. They're defective. Anyway, me safe house, A2 safe house. I'm gonna check the back door.
There you go.
Thank
That's for you, baby.
I missed that show. And I hate what they did in the last season. But let's not go there.
Yeah, the last season was weak. Oh, wow. Somebody's calling me.
Oh, hell no.
It's an 815 number.
Austrian people don't really like the sound of music. Because
I'm going to screen the call.
It gives people ideas of how
the person you've reached is using screening service from Google and will get a recording and transcript of this phone call. Go ahead and say your name and why you're calling. See if they say anything. Oh, it's a veterans thing. Hi, Gerry. This is Corey with whatever the company's name, I forget what, something AYL or something. I'm the representative handling your permanent veterans benefits that you requested recently. I do have that veterans burial, and we will get ready for you and murder you at 2:00 in the morning. No, that's not what it says. But I was looking at my benefits for my burial because I don't give a shit to get the VA. I really don't. But I do want to make sure that when I die, that everything's taken care of because I fucking did my service. So that's neat that they called. Yeah. But I'm not going to talk to him during the show. But I'll read to you what they said.
Back to the show.
Yeah, Gerry, I will be old in a few weeks. I hit 60 in 5 weeks?
3 weeks. 4 weeks.
No, I think is it 4 weeks?
It's the
What's
19th
the date
today.
Oh, it is. So in 4 weeks, I will be 60 years old.
That'll be 2 weeks for me to reach 42. There you go. I dated myself.
Oh, there's a movie that I once dated myself too. That was the best night of sex I ever had.
Jesus, shut up.
I would like to cover that film, Tim. I love that movie, The Third Man, with Orson Welles.
You know, you can still go on a tour in those tunnels. And that's something I would never do because I'm too claustrophobic for that. But that's a huge tourist thing here in Vienna. The Third Man tour.
Is this? Even if the metro station was about half a mile from the rink.
No, it's a long story divided in many pieces. And you're far from the beginning.
Well, I got to tell you that, I grew up in a black neighborhood and it was just different. I don't know what it is, Fredericksburg, I almost lived a sheltered life growing up in that black community because it was so different from anything else I ever experienced anywhere else. Although I would have these pocket moments with people, like that elderly woman I took care of in Richmond that I was talking about. And she had the bars on the window, and she just was the sweetest old lady. I loved I would go visit her twice a month. 1 for the checkup and 2 to make sure she didn't need supplies. And then I would just sit and I would just talk to these patients and got to know them. And I loved that. That was one of the things I really loved about my job, working for AmeriCare as a respiratory therapist. It was just getting to know these patients and talking to them. Actually, and if Kingsport, I don't know if you were there when Victor was here, and he actually said on the show, he goes, we always consider Gerry an adopted member of the black community because I lived there. And I was from the poor side of town, man. And I got to tell you, if it wasn't for the black family that lived next door to us, I probably would have starved because my dad was having trouble finding a job. We had no money. He hadn't gotten any assistance yet. And it felt like forever, but I think it was more like 4 or 5 weeks before he got a job. And that family made sure I was fed. And they were always like that, invite me over. I'd play with the kids. They had the coolest toys, man. One of the things that that kid that lived next door to me he had there was that cowboy set. It wasn't the Lone Ranger set, but it was made by the same people. It was cowboys and Indians, and they were like 12-inch tall figures, but all plastic. The clothing was plastic on them, and they had horses. And oh my God, man, we would play. I have fond memories of that neighborhood. You kind of see why they're the way they are. Yeah. I remember getting invited to a traditional Thanksgiving at a black family's house, and I'd never seen chitlins before. And they made 3 different versions, and I would only eat one of them. That was the fried one because it was like bacon or crispy sausage, and I liked it. The stewed one grossed me out. No food should be gray. Gray is a color that food should never be. And chitlins, when you boil them, and you got to boil them anyway before you even fry them, but they served boiled chitlins, and I was just like, not touching that. Nope. That looks disgusting. It looked like flatworms to me. And that, with my education, it was just weirding me out. But also, a funny incident took place while I was at that dinner. Their dog ate $100 off of not the nightstand, but what is that called? It's like it's a short table right up in between a hallway and a kitchen. There's this long table, and it's got drawers in it. I forget what the name of that is. And the dad had put a money clip on there with his cash and his wallet, and cash was sitting separate, and that dog got a hold of it and ate all of it.
Oh,
And it was like $100. It was crazy. And then Kennard told me, Kennard was his son, and he was my roommate. And Kennard told me, he says, yeah, man, my dad waited and followed that dog around till he shit that money out. He had gloves on. He washed that money right off because the dog ate it whole. There was no chewing it. Fucking whole. He swallowed that fucking wad of cash.
How did we get from Jack Nicholson to this story?
Hey, you let this happen. Don't blame me.
Fucking
Hey, fellas, it's
ADD
midnight.
theater.
I'll see you on the catch up. Have a good one. Thanks a lot, Glenn. I hope you're doing well, man.
It's 1 a.m. here.
Oh, you got to go too, D-Bud? It's good seeing you. Hey, man, and you know, I want to tell you something, D-Bud. You do a fantastic job wrenching for everybody. And I know they tell you what a great job, but I don't know if I've told you just how happy I am that you're out there helping these guys on their shows. You do a fantastic job, buddy. And you are appreciated. I will tell you that now. They love you. To quote Family Guy, so it's agreed, we'll keep on pretending to like pigs' feet, just confound the way. I got to tell you something, man. I will not eat pig snout. And that was one thing, pickled pig snout. And I'm like, no, I will not eat that. But I ate the shit out of hot sausages. And all hot sausages is the meat from the leftover meat from a pig, from the machine, got ground out, including the meat from the snout. There's tongue in there. And they pickle it inside the skin. Again, the chitlin. And they cook it and then pickle it. And hot sausages are amazeballs, especially if you get traditional ones. You can still buy them. Like I've seen them at Walmart. That is something. But we got moved off when we started talking about like doing other shows, and so we went off in that direction. So I'm going to go back. I didn't like The Passenger as a film, but I love Nicholson in it. Great job. Tommy is one of those films by The Who. I love the album. The movie left a lot to be desired. And Nicholson's in there. He plays the specialist in that film. Then he did a film in 1974 called The Fortune. Never seen it. But then came One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. And that film would get him his first Oscar. And well-deserved. It is a great fucking movie.
Yes.
One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. Well, of course, based on the book. And it is a critical statement. And I got to tell you, as deserved as that critical statement is, it is what led to many investigations, including from Geraldo Rivera, that went into these facilities and would find them lacking. Now, agreed, they should have been made better and they should have been forced. But what this led to was Ronald Reagan shutting down these institutions. And that's when our homeless situation started. Our homeless issues in these cities started with that. A majority of these people that you see homeless on the streets are people who are mentally ill that can't get past the 72-hour hold, which is that rule. Every hospital has it, that they cannot put a patient in the mental ward until they've found that they are a danger to themselves or a danger to somebody else. And that shouldn't be the only reason you put somebody in a facility that's designed to take care of them. So Reagan, it's the one thing I've always blamed Ronald Reagan for, is that he is the reason we got the massive homeless problem that started in the late 80s and has lasted to this day and keeps getting worse. Oh, Keys Workout, you know I love you, buddy. I love all you guys. What is this? Gerry, you have to quit dunking your money in gravy. That wasn't my money. That was the father's, Kennard's dad's money. I ate big mama hot sauce. You know what I'm talking about. Yes, Big Mama. That's a brand that I've eaten too, man. That shit's good. Hot sausages, dude. You know, look, people go, man, I like those beef sticks made by Jimmy, whatever it's called, with the Sasquatch eating them and shit. All those, I'm like, those are nothing to a hot sausage. Those things are fucking awesome, dude. It is a favorite from my childhood, eating those damn hot sausages. That goes with it, but there tends to be mental illness too.
It's self-medication. That's
well, it is.
why they drink
Doing drugs and being a alcoholic is not the disease; it's a symptom of something else. And it's been a problem I've had with people who treat alcoholism and drug abuse as a disease. It's not. It's a symptom of something else. What's causing it is the thing that they need to deal with, and they want to deal with it. But Jack Nicholson's movie One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, what a cast. You had so many fucking great actors that were nobodies at this point that would go on from there. Number one was, and it's produced, by the way, by Michael Douglas. And he handpicked Danny DeVito to be in the film because Danny DeVito was his roommate when they were coming up as actors in New York. A lot of people don't know that. Another cool one is Gene Hackman was roommates when he was coming up as an actor with Dustin Hoffman.
That's cool.
And they stayed best friends. And to my knowledge, they still are.
Didn't it start with this movie that many of his directors would allow Nicholson to improvise because he was that good coming up with scenes?
Yes, because that was what was in that documentary. That's right. You brought that up because he did a lot of improvisational dialogue in this, including the big baseball scene where he's describing what's going on in a baseball game. And they're all getting excited and getting into it. That was all improvised on camera. Nicholson was great. You got a lot of actors. Michael Berryman, who came up through horror, actually, this is his first film. Scatman Crothers is in it. He had been doing TV, and this was one of his big breaks. Danny DeVito, huge break for him to be in his film. Another one that was just a great guy, a bit actor. He actually held on to his day job for years when he was doing movies. Is Sidney Lassick. He's in a lot of B movies and real Hollywood movies too. He's all over the place, but he's a character actor, always in the background playing secondary characters, and couldn't make enough money though, so he kept his day job. And directors worked with him.
Maybe he saw it as a hobby, acting, and never wanted to go.
No, he liked what he was doing, but he didn't see where he was ever going to make it big, is what he would say. And so he kept his day job and continued doing that. But here is one of the breakthrough actors in this film. Christopher Lloyd is one of the patients. Just what a cast, man. And one of the best actors in the film that I don't even see them even mentioning here. Oh my God, he's not on the first page. IMDb should be ashamed of itself the way it runs its
they
website
screw up
now.
a lot of times.
The way they put the actors in order, the order they make, it's just illogical. It's scatological. But Louise Fletcher, of course, is great in it as Nurse Ratched. But I'm looking for him here. In fact, if you go on the full cast, Jack Nicholson is 15 down.
What?
On the cast list. I'm not shitting you here. I'll fucking share.
That movie won him an Oscar, and he's the 15th on the list.
Yeah, take a look at this.
Go up here. You should get IMDb.
Look at this. Look how they got this going here.
Wait, let me add it.
And it's clearly they're trying to be alphabetical, but you shouldn't do that.
No, that makes no sense.
Oh, Brad Dourif is in it. That's right. He's got a great role in there too.
Brad Dourif
is
great in everything he does.
Oh, I concur. Will Sampson, Native American Indian actor. My mom went out on a date with him for drinking one time. It's one of those stories I got told because she worked in a bar where a lot of celebrities came in, and he was one of them that came in. Really nice guy. Also, the guy from Rockford Files, his buddy that was a con man. He went on a date with my mom when she was split up with my dad. But this guy, Will Sampson, is probably one of the best characters in the film, because he's the only one
Who escapes?
who escapes. He smothers Nicholson's character after they give him a frontal lobotomy. I remember I cried when it happened, and he put him out of his misery. And then walked over and wrenches the water fountain out of the wall and smashes it through the wall and just goes walking out. It's a great movie, man. I love that one. But Will Sampson, great actor, died too soon. Not long after he was in the second Poltergeist movie. And he got put into the curse thing. I'm like, fuck you with your curse. It's just bad shit happens to people.
Unfortunately.
I've heard that, and I've never personally experienced it. Anything bad. The only thing bad that ever happened to me was when, as a paramedic, I got called onto the Muckleshoot reservation to go to one of the casinos, 24-hour casinos they had there, and had a woman that was unconscious, unresponsive in the bathroom. So we had to go in and get her. And usually we just assume myocardial infarction. In this case, I think it was a stroke. I think she'd had a stroke. We did revive her, and she did survive. Remember seeing in the hospital room. She's unconscious, unresponsive. We go get her. Our ambulance is out front, parked there with the lights going. We go in, get this woman, go walking out the front doors of the casino, and our ambulance is upside down in the parking lot.
What?
With the lights still going on the pavement. You could see the lights on the pavement. It's crazy looking. I stopped and went, whoa. Back in, go back in. We had to go back inside. I wasn't going out there. Like, we had to call for a vehicle to come move the rig. We had to get, it wasn't a tow truck. We had to get a vehicle that would scoop it up and pull it up into the truck, and take it back and turn it over and make sure it wasn't damaged. And, I get you. So, well, you would know more than anybody as someone who is, you're just American Indian, native. So, you would have a far better opinion on that than myself. Firewater. Yeah. But, yeah, we ended up riding back to the station in another ambulance and having that one towed. It was funny as shit, man. It's just something you don't expect to see. Your ambulance turned upside down in a parking lot, and you're like, "What the fuck? What crazy fucking world am I in?" And we were told later it was young people did it as a prank.
Oh, a prank. Okay. I don't want to see them angry. And with that, let's go to our ad. See you after it.
Meet the Seattle Vigilante. Like so many comic heroes, this warrior hides his identity. But his identity isn't the only secret he has to keep. After grievous wounds received during combat, Tier 1 operator John Russell begins to recover and comes to terms with his new reality of being an amputee. And as he learns how to use his new prosthetic limb, he finds himself caught up in the bureaucratic red tape that too many wounded veterans experience, the exhausting medboard process. Out of sheer frustration, John takes it out on the criminal scum of the city. But when reality kicks in, John realizes he started something that's having an impact on the greater world around him, and thus has to reevaluate his motives. And moreover, just how far is John willing to go to finish this war he's declared against the criminals in Seattle? And will he even survive? From the creator of IDW's award-winning graphic novel Code Word Geronimo comes a new story about a different kind of warrior, Vindicated Inc., the first of its kind disabled veteran action hero comic. The Vindicated Inc. graphic novel crowdfunding campaign on fundmycomic.com is provided in the description of this video. We hope you become a contributor. Please share this link. Thank you.
So we hit our main goal of funding me to do the book. I'm very happy about that. Last night on Zach's channel, we had somebody actually contribute an additional $200 last night. It was really nice.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was Lady
Huge
Belfour's fiance
That's
that did
awesome.
it. When he saw the trailer and listened to what I was talking about, he's like, "This is an amazing project," and so he dropped $200, man. I'm like, "Thanks, dude.
So happy to hear that.
Every penny counts."
Yep.
But to get back onto it, though, I'm so fond of Jack Nicholson as an actor, and he's been in so many great films. And One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, of course, got him his first Oscar, and he so deserved it. His next film he did is another favorite of mine. I don't know. Did you get to watch it, Anima? The
Which
Missouri
one?
Breaks.
No, I didn't have time. I couldn't find a copy that worked, so I went to watch 2 other movies last night. I went on a marathon, Nicholson marathon. I couldn't find one that worked and was halfway decent quality, so I was hoping to do it today, but as you know, I've had quite a busy day at the clinic with my cat. That took a lot of time.
I'm looking up.
I really want to watch it though. Oh my God, read what Cheeseman says.
What I can. I'm doing something.
He says Dr. Gerry has had a prosthetic limb ever since the kitten attack. That's your fault, Gerry. You told the story multiple times.
Yeah, eventually I'm going to tell it over on the other dude's channel because he's like, I got to hear this story. Kept trying to get me to tell it. I said, no, that's for another time. I'm going to tell you this shit, which is fucked up funny.
That is why I hinted at it in chat, so we would have you back.
And it makes me sad. I'm not going to get to do the show, our little bit, Would I Lie to You? Because I had another story I wanted to tell. I'm trying to get my buddy. Hold on. Let me check, see if he messaged me. No. I am messaging all of my childhood friends to get back to me and to see if I can get them to come on as this person might be someone I know.
Yes,
And have us do this where each person on the show will go, this was my friend. And I think this would be good to find any one of your friends, get somebody to come on the show. Like Heidi would be great. Have Heidi. And
she barely speaks English. It would be
and
obvious.
the audience has to vote. I'm going to make them vote for each one when we lie or tell the truth. And they have to decide, is this who, like, if there are 4 or 5 of us, like, which one of us knows this person?
I would love to do that. I would even come.
I think that'd just be a lot of fun. And
because I think to play that game, the participants need to be on camera so you can tell whether they lie or not. You need to see them.
You are the flip opposite of what my buddy Shane is, because his father was American Indian and his mother was white. Hey, Monkey Jeep is here. What's up, man? The Irish guy said, I told him I was giving away your cocation for firing on a guy. I'm reading literal. I was when do I ever tell the truth? Yeah, I like that. What's this one? He had Lady B asking your book since the first time you came on. That's so cool. That is so cool. Shit like that makes me feel better about what I'm doing. And people are really getting what I'm talking about. That's the prosthetic since the kitten attack. There you go. Fuck you, monkey. So back to Nicholson. He did this film, Missouri Breaks, which is really one of my favorite films. And it leads to this great...
He really wants to work together with Marlon Brando because he was such a big influence on him. That's why he took the role.
He got offered the role of Michael in The Godfather, and he turned it down because he said an Italian should play that.
Yeah, also he didn't want to
right.
play the lead over Marlon Brando. That didn't sit right with him. And I'm glad he felt that way.
But here is the scene from Missouri Breaks, and I'm sure it'll get claimed and I'll remove it later. Donkey.
Just from looking at it.
Oh, they cut it. That's not the full scene.
But you're really going to get claimed over that?
Yeah, I don't mind.
I'm getting sick and tired of all these copyright claims, Gary.
Yeah, we
Shut
got
up,
one right
Polanski.
now on John's show from last night.
Why? In-game music?
I don't know.
Did you get one for Wednesday?
Look and see if they have it. Doesn't look like they have the scene. That's tragic.
Gary, did you get claimed for the Wednesday show with that weird RPG Fallout game?
No.
Because that had a lot of music.
Yeah, nothing yet. You got to change the wording. Yeah, they don't have it. That sucks. They used to have it in there. Because what happens is he falls asleep and he suddenly wakes up like that, and Nicholson is right in his face. He goes, "Did you hear that? That was the sound of me cutting your throat."
Oh, nice. Yeah, I really want
And
to
he
watch
just
that
and he
movie.
just slowly goes, and he dies on camera. It's fucking great moment. And Nicholson just looks at him as he's dying. Just it's one of my favorite movies. I like
the
that
only
film.
problem with that scene, you still needed the freaking cue cards.
Why are you talking like that?
Dick.
He did the film The Last Tycoon with Robert De Niro, another Godfather actor. It was critically praised, but it didn't do too well in the box office. Going South was a flop. He also directed that film. The film he did with John Belushi is in it. And what it is he is going to be hanged, but there's a rule or law in this town that says if a widow wants to take him on, a convicted felon, take him on, marry him, they can live. But the minute they leave her or she dies, they get executed.
That, as far as I know, if I remember correctly, that goes back into the Middle Ages in Europe, that tradition.
Well, it's a great little film. It really broke my heart that it didn't do well because I laughed my ass off at it. It's a great little film. And then he turned around and did something totally different. He'd always wanted to work with Stanley Kubrick, and so he does The Shining. And once again, he plays a character named Jack. It's either Jack or Jake. It's
Often, yeah.
So often in the 70s, it was a Jack or Jake. So
Actually,
he plays Jack Torrance.
Kubrick and King, they fought over it because King wanted a different actor, but Kubrick won. He wanted Jack Nicholson.
Well, it's his movie. Basically, he told King to fuck off.
Yeah.
And in fact, one of the insults to King in the film was the crashed Volkswagen that you see midway through the film, as they're heading up there through the snowstorm. Matches the Volkswagen that King drove.
That's nice.
So it was supposedly an FU to Stephen King. Look, it's one of my favorite films ever made, The Shining. I don't see it as horror. People call it horror. I'm like, it's not horror. This is a psychological thriller. There are horror aspects to it, but you have to question the reality of those things that you're seeing because are these characters reliable narrators with what they're seeing? So I find it interesting that to this day, this movie is one of the most hotly debated films in cinema history. And one of the more interesting things, I believe that if Kubrick hadn't died when he did, we would have probably gotten some kind of answer from him on the meaning of certain things. So some of these people would shut the fuck up about it. But it's a great film. Nicholson, though, had found it very caustic kind of thing because he knew how Shelley was being treated by Kubrick and the crew. He didn't like that. He didn't like a lot of things that were being done in the film. And he considered it grueling filmmaking. And he never wanted to work with Kubrick again.
Having to do scenes so often again and again and again, yeah.
Well, the movie, like the sets are designed that it can't possibly exist.
Oh, you read it.
And even even in Deliberate Choice is the fact that the exterior of the hotel can't fit in it in the first place.
You hired a team of midgets dressed like
It's your call. If you want to put it on, put it on. I
I'm
won't.
not putting it up, man. I'm not putting it up.
No.
But that shit's funny, monkey. Oh my fucking god. Oh shit. So the next film after The Shining was The Postman Always Rings Twice. It was a remake of a classic film made in the 40s. And I got to be honest, I prefer the original film over this one. I'm not saying they didn't do a fantastic job, but this film was made solely for the sex scene. And that's it. They wanted to do an R-rated sex scene. And so they got it. And the film isn't any better than the original. I like the dark ending. It's your classic noir type story. They would refer to it as neo-noir. And then he turned around because he was good friends with Warren Beatty. He made the film Reds, which is funny because the character he plays in The Last Tycoon is a communist. He's the head of the union, actors union. I never watched The Shining all the way through. I also never considered it horror. Yeah,
Same King Spot, Cal. I'm never going to watch that movie.
Why?
Well, he's not saying that. He's saying he's just never watched the whole thing all the way through. There's
you maybe watch scenes.
Any reasons.
So yeah, same.
He may have gotten bored with it. I don't know. Let's see.
The actual subject matter of the movie, though, is disturbing when you really break it down.
Very. Okay, there you go. It's a disturbing film because that there is, at its core, some kind of abuse going on. Is it just physical or is it potentially sexual in nature? And when you see him reading, when he's waiting for them sitting in that chair in the main lobby, and he's reading Playgirl. And that issue of Playgirl, the main story of that issue was about incest.
Yep.
Is it acceptable? Is this normal? Or
no? Why do some parents sleep with their children? I've seen it.
It's the same difference. It's the same difference because they were talking about it that way in the article. So, Reds is the next film after Postman. I didn't like Reds. I just didn't like it. And he plays a real person. He plays Eugene O'Neill. It's a historical film. Then he did a film I do like called The Border. And my favorite story that came from this film is one of my favorite comedic actors, Phil Hartman, was golfing with John Lovitz and the blonde-haired guy from Mike Myers. We're not worthy. We're not worthy.
Oh, Dana Carvey.
Dana Carvey, all three of them were golfing. And they look behind him, and there's none other than Jack Nicholson right behind him playing. And so they hit a point where they're going to wave him and let him play through. And John Lovitz walks up to him, and he's like, hey, my friend here, he points at Phil, did you in a film? And Phil explains, he says, what it is you weren't available because you were shooting another film, Terms of Endearment. And you weren't available for, he said Reds. You were shooting Reds. And you weren't available. So they auditioned a bunch of voice actors to do your voice. And I got hired to do that scene where you thank them for, and he does the scene. He is, he's like, I want to thank you and your wife for all your help. And Nicholson shoots back at me. He goes, that must be the reason why that movie did so bad. Just shit on him. It was great. Nicholson, of course, is Garrett Breedlove in the next film, Terms of Endearment, which is a great film. I've watched it twice in my life. I don't think I could ever watch it again because it just breaks my heart every time. I'm one of those weepy people at the end when she dies. Just fuck, man. And I wasn't interested in the sequel, even though he's in the sequel too. But then he did a comedy called Pritzi's Honor about two people who are gangster. They work for gangsters and they're hitmen. And he plays, it's, what's her name? Let me check this again. I forget her name. Big actress at the time, Kathleen Turner. And
sorry.
So before I read it, I want to finish this. So the mobsters order each of them to kill the other. And it's sort of like Mr. and Mrs. Smith kind of story, and how they got to survive this thing, and will their marriage survive, having to kill each other. So it's a great little comedy, and well worth a watch. If you've never seen it, it's called Pritzi's Honor. So RRTNZ gives us $5 from New Zealand, Kiwi country. In my opinion, Teak Jack equals how do you write women so well?
Do we
When
have
I get
that
to
clip,
that,
Martin? Do we have
yeah, of
but
course we
not-
have that
not
clip.
in-
It's in the other studio. We'll go to it.
Yeah.
I think of a man, then I take away reason and accountability. No one else could pull that off, and it's such a fucking great moment. And we put that as a video, and I'm going to give that to you as a video.
I think we
As
have.
Good as It Gets is one of my favorite movies with Jack Nicholson.
I think
What's
we
that?
don't have it anymore. Oh no!
What?
Yes, here it is. Here it is. Here it is. Here we go.
Oh, yeah.
How do you write women so well?
I think of a man, and I take away reason and accountability.
The face she makes.
Our face falls. It's
You
just
fucking
great.
asked. Pritzi's Honor. Heartburn is a really good one with Meryl Streep. It's a romantic comedy. And he seemed to be really kind of enjoying doing that, getting away from some of the other stuff he was doing. And then he does this weird film, and I made the mistake of taking my son to it because I read the book, The Witches of Eastwick. And I had no idea that they were going to turn him into the fucking devil at the end and have that nightmare scene. And my son was so traumatized, he would not let me live it down. And I'm talking going into his teens. He would just bring back, man, when you take me to that movie and I was traumatized and I cried for days. I'm like, yeah, I remember. I'm so sorry. So sorry.
How you do that to your kid?
That monologue in the church, I love it.
I had fun
It's
with that movie,
it's a
yeah.
fantastic film. I love it when what's her name from Alien starts regurgitating
The
Peach.
No, it's not peach. The cranberries.
No, I thought it was from Peaches. It was the thing from the Peaches, the center seed, whatever it's called, because they're big, and she just starts. That's a curse that gets put on her, and she starts vomiting up these little things one after the other. No fluid; it's always just the seeds.
Yeah.
Then he was in Broadcast News, it's a good film. It's not great. I saw it one time in the 80s and wasn't interested in watching it again. Ironweed, I never even wanted to watch it. It didn't interest me. It's another Depression era romantic story. Then he plays Jack Napier, the Joker, in Batman. And holy shit. That was the best part of that movie because I don't think I would have watched it without that, because I didn't like some of the things they did in it. Like the opening scene where he's looking down the alley and they did the Disney animated shadow as he turned to walk out of the light. I
think
hated
I only
that.
watched that because of Nicholson.
But I ended up being a fan of him because I really do like Michael Keaton as Batman, even though he's short as fuck.
Hey,
But
there's nothing wrong with being short. Fuck you.
okay. The Two Jakes is his next film after Batman. And in that one, yeah, this is his last film he ever directed because the film tanked and he goes, that's it, I'm done. I'll never do this again. But it also cost him his friendship, his 20-year friendship with Robert Towne, because Robert Towne was pissed at him for what he did, making this film and directing it. And it was against his wishes. So it sucked. It really sucked. And then he did a film called Man Trouble, another romantic comedy. It's pretty good. Then he does this outstanding film that I have military moral issues with the film because of the leftist slant of some of the things that are said within the film. But the acting in it is so profoundly good. I will watch this movie again and again. And Nicholson, as Colonel Nathan R. Jessup, has one of the greatest lines in the history of film. And in fact, it's in the opening video that I showed. I want the truth. You can't handle the truth. That
Gerry.
scene is so inspiring.
Did you call the code red, Gerry? Did you call the code red?
You goddamn right I did. Or did you order? Did you order that code red? You goddamn right I did, and I'd do it again.
I
I love that
fries
fucker.
with it too. Shove it up your ass.
It's a great movie. It really is. And a character like Colonel Nathan R. Jessup, in real life, would be an admired man. And he wouldn't have done what that character did. That's the fictional aspect of this, is that it was ordered. And in the true story, that's not what happened. It led to the death of a Marine, though, after the fact. And his death is still an unsolved mystery to this day. He was one of the whistleblowers of the event. And he was found dead in the woods of a single bullet wound, and there was no gun near him. Really strange story. But the next film, really good film. But it's one of those movies, it's so long, and I can never watch it more than once, is Hoffa. And he played Hoffa with Danny DeVito.
Danny DeVito directed one of his few serious movies.
What? I didn't catch that.
Danny DeVito directed Hoffa.
Oh.
Saying one of his few serious movies.
And DeVito did a good job in the film, too. Yeah, Peach Pits. Thank you, ORTNZ. Thank you.
I see Peach Pits. You didn't hear that.
Yeah. I think they were Peach Pits. I think they were. For some reason, I just remember that. Anyway, the next film is really another favorite of mine. It is not a horror film, but it's a monster movie. And the comedy in it is fucking hilarious. Is Wolf with Michelle Pfeiffer and another weird actor. What is his name?
Spader.
Yeah, James fucking Spader. He is so fucking funny in it. Christopher Plummer's great in it. David Hyde Pierce is in it too, by the way. What a great movie. And it is the kind of werewolf movie that Anima could watch easily. Because it's not a horror film.
Well, we tried to. We couldn't make it work. I would have liked to.
We got to get around to watching it. Yeah, we couldn't get the video to play, and I'm going to find a way for us to be able to watch it.
That's what happened with Missouri Breaks to me yesterday and today. I just couldn't find anything that worked. So
he's mostly Irish Catholic. He grew up Irish Catholic in New Jersey, and he was an altar boy. It was fun to watch that documentary about him, learning all this stuff about him as a kid. It wasn't until he was in high school that the a little darker side of him kind of came out, and he became kind of a rebel and causing trouble because he was a smart ass. You know, that's somebody I could really identify with. I think that's why I've just loved him my whole life. Because pretty much all the characters he's best known for playing were versions of himself. He just played himself, and he just played it so well. He got like nominated, and won an Oscar for it. Wolf is a great film. It really is. The pissing and marking your territory scene is worth the price of admission. That's all I got to say about that movie. James Spader and him, man, it's fucking great.
Hold on, I think I've seen this one because this scene sounds familiar.
Yeah, they're in the office. And by the way, they shot that film, another connection to Blade Runner, in the Bradbury building. That's where their office was. Very good film. Next film is also good. This is written by Sean Penn and directed by Sean Penn, The Crossing Guard, which surprised me because I don't like Sean Penn. I think he's a prick. But damn it if I don't like his movies. He's one of those people I got to separate the art from the artist. And The Crossing Guard is a powerful story of a man whose loved one is run over and killed by a drunk driver. And the drunk driver is getting out of prison. And he has been planning to murder this guy once he gets out. But everything, it flips on its head. And it's just a powerful fucking movie. If you've never seen it, take time to watch that movie. You want to talk about moral dilemmas and just really good stuff. And then he did this little indie film with Michael Caine called Blood and Wine, which is an outstanding film. And the ending to it, I don't want to even talk too much about it because that's a movie you have to watch to enjoy. Independently produced, released by a studio that buys a lot of independent film. So I think, was it not Lionsgate? I can't remember who it was, but it was one of the small ones. Evening Star was the sequel to Terms of Endearment. I couldn't watch that film. I watched part of it and I just couldn't finish it because I'm like, this is nowhere near as good as the original. It's based on the sequel book. So then came the fun movie that Anima got to watch just today called Mars Attacks.
Oh my God. I'm not into silly funny, but this one was great.
He plays two different characters, President James Dale, and he plays Art Land, a real estate, fast-talking real estate agent in Las Vegas with buck teeth and a big-ass nose. It's funny as hell. I love that movie. It's so goofy.
He has a favorite line in that movie, which is like, I just want the people to know they still have 2 out of 3 branches of the government working, and that's not half bad.
No, the best line in that movie is when Grandma said, they burned down Congress. That cracked me up. How she celebrates that.
And they did bring up an actual fact that they don't want the executive office with the other branch at the same time for the potential things. And in fact, that's what leads to the incident in Tom Clancy's Executive Decision, where a jet is flown into the Capitol building, killing everybody there. And the only person that's not there, Jack Ryan. And he becomes president of the United States.
Wait,
it's a good book. It is a good book.
Wait. Yeah, the book, but Executive Decision, the movie, is the one with Kurt Russell and
Executive Orders. Executive Orders. I'm sorry. Executive Orders. Anyway, the next film after Mars Attacks, which is just a film that everybody should see. You should own that film. Every movie person should own Mars Attacks. It's that good. But the next film is my second favorite film he was ever in, and I consider it one of my favorite performances of any actor. Is As Good as It Gets.
Oh, my favorite.
Because suffering from OCD and having an introverted personality, I so loved his character of Marvin Udall, or Melvin Udall.
I just have one question. How can you win Best Actor, Best Actress, Best Director, and lose Best Movie?
Yeah, I don't even want to get into it. The Oscars are fucked. Don't even get into it.
Nobody
but As Good as It Gets is one of those films, again, directed by one of my favorite director show creators. This guy has his James L. Brooks had his fingers on so many things from The Simpsons. He's just all over the place with his talent. And back when The Simpsons was funny. But James Brooks co-wrote the script and directed the film. And it is absolutely one of my favorite films about dealing with people with severe OCD problems. And him so bad he had to be medicated. He had some of the best lines in that film that just, like, a friend of mine was in the scene. She's the girl at the table when he says, "There are Jews at my table." People who speak in metaphors should shampoo my crotch. I mean, so many fucking great lines in that film. I'm like, how can you have so many good lines in one movie like that? And they're all over the place. And they're all just by him. Like, one of my other favorite lines was when he's sitting there and he's like, you know, if you're going to help me, you know, you at least be moderately interesting. And the guy says something else. He says, "I'm drowning here and you're describing the water."
Oh, you use that a lot.
There
are a lot of lines I take from that film. What, dude?
I love when the actress goes up to him and goes, "We will never have sex." And he's like, "What?"
For the no sexos. The line is still outside for the no sexos. I like that line too. There's so many great lines in this movie. And you know, one of the most profound moments in the film is he says, "The greatest compliment I can give you is you make me want to be a better man." Then comes another Sean Penn film. He co-wrote it and he directed it, called The Pledge. And it's based on another story. I forget the name of the book, which is really a painful film to watch. But it's worthwhile. But it's one of those films that you probably will only watch it one time, because of how it ends. And his performance in that should have gotten an award. And it just shocks me how the Oscars work. And he plays a retired cop on his retirement day, is given a case, and he's like, I can't. And then he gives this woman a promise. He says, I won't stop until I catch the person that killed your child. And it's a pledge. And he sticks to it. Even after he's retired, he moves away, buys this station, takes up with this woman who has a kid, and then he gets this idea he might know who the killer might be and how to lure him out, and he uses this lady's kid to lure the killer out. And when she finds out, she loses her shit, leaves him broken, and he can't understand, what happened to this guy, where he went to, and you find out in the story, of course, that the killer died in a car accident. Most mundane death. And it's just, Sean Penn surprises me sometimes. What he can do.
Well,
I still think he's a fucking prick. He's a commie. I don't like him. But God damn it, he can act and he can direct. Now, the next film he did.
Wait, what?
When a woman can change me, yeah, that says something. Best people in the world are smart asses. We know not to take things too seriously. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's what he says in Team America a bunch, Martin. I've been to Iraq.
I saw what you sent me. All work and no play makes Jack adult boy instead of a dull boy. Yeah, I get it. That's cool. Let's see. Back to what I was talking about. His next film about Schmidt, Anima just watched it with me. It's a great film. This is a film where he's playing somebody actually older than him. That's retired from a company, and he's in a dull marriage, and he turns and leaves the house. I can't remember what he left the house for, but he comes back.
To post a letter to the boy in Africa that he's sponsoring.
The boy in Africa.
In the first letter, he complains about his marriage and how he doesn't like anything about it. And when he comes back from posting that letter, he finds his wife dead. She died
on the floor.
Blood clot while
cerebral hemorrhage. Yeah.
It's hard.
But he's got a daughter who just doesn't respect him. And he even says something to her at one point. It's like, you don't want to ever do anything to be around me, blah, blah, blah. I mean, but you want the checks from me, right? You still like having those checks I send you, right? And she's like, I don't need to talk about this right now. We can talk about it some other time. She just blows him off constantly. His opinion doesn't matter.
I think she wants a relationship with him, but he has issues with her fiance, and so she wants to keep the both of them separate.
I would have issues with her fiance.
Oh, fuck yeah. What a douche.
Dermot Mulroney is so good as his future son-in-law. He's got the fucking mullet. He's got the full biker mustache.
The haircut does also work with that role.
And his dad is played by Howard Hessman, and his mother is played by Kathy Bates. Oh. And I told you, I warned you in advance, that fucking hot tub scene.
Oh my God, nothing could prepare me for that. Nothing.
Nothing can prepare. And the courage of her to get in front of a camera at her age and her weight to get naked in that scene was just amazing. Because she does that scene with him and then makes him so uncomfortable. And it's a journey for this guy of learning something. And what he ends up learning is forgiveness. That not everything is for you to worry about. This isn't your life anymore. That's her life. His daughter's life. And he kind of lets go when he does that. And on top of that, he even is willing to forgive his best friend, Ray Nichols, for romancing his wife behind his back.
Romancing? They had an affair.
Oh, they had an absolute affair. and he finds the letters. And that scene when he confronts him and throws the letter, he's like slap hitting him and shit is funny as hell. He's like, "Stop it! It was a long time ago. It was a mistake."
I like how part of the narration is through the letters to the boy he's sponsoring. And in the end, when he feels all alone and nothing I did ever made an impact on anyone, and that's when the sister from the French convent in Africa writes him a letter, because the boy obviously can't write at 6 years old.
He's like, he's 5 years old, doesn't know how to write, but she wanted to tell him how he's doing. And this changes the final moment of that film, because he's so bleak at this point. What's the point of me being alive? And this little boy sends a painting that he did with crayons.
The two of them hand
the
in
two of them
hand.
holding hands under the sun.
And then the sister tells him that the boy needed a medical procedure and he was able to get it because of him. So he did do good. He did impact and make the world better.
Because that was his thing. I don't seem to have an impact on anybody's life. And he's so depressed over that. And then that happens and it changes. The final moments of him on camera is with tears welling in his eyes, and then it fades to black.
I shed a tear or two over that ending, I have to admit.
Yeah. Champion was good in milking Carlito's way. Oh, dude. Look, man, he's a good actor. I just don't like him as a person. I did make a joke back in the 80s because of his relationship with Madonna and how he became more of a bad boy afterwards. I said, I preferred Sean Penn when he was pre-Madonna.
I hate you. I hate everything about you.
Hold on.
I hate this show. I hate my life. I'm going to kill myself now.
No, you don't.
Oh.
He'll be back.
I wanted to make him feel better. And he just left.
He doesn't feel bad. He was teasing.
I know.
His next film, Anger Management, is kind of an off-the-wall film. I told her you were kidding. She was like afraid you were serious. I mean, no, he's fucking around.
We love you,
the movie Anger Management is one of my favorite films with
oh
Nicholson.
God, I had so much fun with that last night.
Oh, I
when
like
you were
it.
taking a nap.
And the great plot twist at the end. And I don't want to tell the plot twist because it's something you need to experience if you've never seen the movie.
Oh, and I forgot that because I watched it back in the early 2000s when I was sleepless, and I lived close to a place where you could rent VHS tapes, so I would go and rent them and watch them at night when I couldn't sleep, and that was one of them. But I forgot the plot twist, and I watched it yesterday. I was like, "Oh shit!" In the end, great movie.
Dude,
yeah, that scene when they sing West Side Story on the bridge in the car. Oh
dude, Galaxia. That was the best thing ever. When he finds it, that is a security personnel in the stadium.
It's just a fun film. His next movie, Something's Gotta Give, was an over 50 romantic comedy.
I like that movie.
Oh, I do too. Nicholson and Diane Keaton are great in it. Amanda Peet is just fucking all kinds of sexy. Keanu Reeves is in it. It's like Amanda Peet is having a relationship with Nicholson, and Keanu Reeves is having a relationship with Diane Keaton. Both of them are with younger people, but they like each other for some reason, and it's just a fun film. Favreau's in it. I took some shit last night again from Phoenix. I just forgot his name.
Joaquin?
Flaccid Phoenix?
No, Flaccid Phoenix. Thank you. Shut up, Shinatsky. Anima comes to the rescue.
Yeah, I'm proud of his brain.
Woody gave me shit about Jon Favreau again, but I joked back. I said he's the only one that put out anything Star Wars that was good. So since they got bought, so all I got to say is he was the one chance they had. I'm not saying he's the savior. I'm saying he was their chance. But this movie is really good. Paul Michael Glaser is in it from Starsky and Hutch.
Yes.
Rachel Ticotin, you knew her. She was Arnold's love interest in Total Recall. She's in it. There's a bunch of other people in it that I was like, whatever. But Amanda Peet is an outstanding part of this film. Keanu's got a lot of fun in it. And it's a good romantic comedy. And Nicholson is at home with romantic comedies. He really is. He is in the zone when he makes a film like that. Then he just kind of was quiet for, I think, about 3 years. But in secret, he was producing this little film, starring in it with a very good cast. He's got Matt Damon, Leonardo DiCaprio, Matt Damon, Leonardo DiCaprio, and it was a remake of was it a Hong Kong film or Korean film? I can't remember now.
Hong Kong,
right?
South Korean film.
Infernal Affairs.
Infernal Affairs, right? And it's also the director of the film. It's just some unknown director named Martin Scorsese. He decided to make this kind of about a real Irish mobster, which Johnny Depp would later play him, the real one, in another film biopic. But this film's got great actors. Ray Winstone is in it. Martin Sheen, Vera Farmiga is in it, and fucking Anthony Anderson back when I liked him. Alec Baldwin, James Badge Dale, another student of Dale Dye. Great cast in this film, just amazing. Oh, you got Wahlberg in it too.
Yeah, Mark.
You also have his brother Robert Wahlberg is in it too. But Marky Mark was in it, and his brother. Just a really good gangster film. And I think one of my favorite things was when Matt Damon
gets it up.
Tells a story about what happened. And here, I'm going to play the video now. This is so fucking funny.
Departed, I was in this rehearsal in pre-production, and it was just me and Jack Nicholson and Scorsese. And we had a few hours together, and at one point Marty got up to either use the bathroom or have a cup of coffee or something, and it was just me and Jack in the room. And he turned around and he goes, "You know, I never would have made it this far in my career if I wasn't a great fucking writer."
Really?
Yeah, out of nowhere. And it was the most, and I went like, and it was like everything clicked into place. And I went, of course, like, how do you have a 40-year career?
Right.
Without being able to put your own kind of imprimatur on something, or, understand.
Fix it.
Yeah, fix it or not touch a comma of it.
Right.
And, you know what I mean? And,
he knew it.
And be more often right than wrong. It's like, it's because he was a great writer. I'll give you one story. I mean, I've probably told you this because it's one of my favorite. It was my favorite thing that happened on The Departed, about a scene that I was not in, but he was. And the scene said, it was 1/8 of a page, and it said, Costello, which is the name of his character, Costello executes man kneeling in the marshes. Mm-hmm. Right. So you go, okay. Now, if you, most people look at that and they'll go, all right, it's going to be one shot. You know, that's going to be an hour of work, and all right, and that's all I'm doing that day or whatever. He looked at that and he goes, okay, I can do that, but I think I can make it better. And so he's telling me this story. He goes, so what I do is, he goes, I come from the Roger Corman school, so I'm not going to add any time, and I'm not going to add to your budget. But instead of a man kneeling in the marshes, I make it a woman. And I go, oh, okay. And he goes, so I'm going to execute a woman, but I'm not going to be alone. I put Ray in the scene with me, and that's Ray Winston, who plays kind of his right-hand man, this brilliant English actor. And he goes, so I put Ray in the scene with me. And I do the thing, and I shoot her in the back of the head, like it says in the script. But if you leave the camera rolling, after she falls, I turn to Ray and I say, geez, she felt funny. Now that's a really sinister thing to say. Because it means I do this a lot, and there's a way people fall.
Right.
And she didn't fall that way. And I go, oh, yeah, I get it, man, I get it. And he goes, now you could end the scene there, but if you leave the camera rolling, Ray steps forward and he reveals that he's holding an axe. He's gonna chop her up.
Oh, man.
Now you could end the scene there. He goes, but if you leave the camera rolling. I turn to Ray and say, wait, I think I want to fuck her again. And he goes, now that's a very sinister line. And I go, I get it. It's really, really, really disturbing. And he says, now you could end the scene there. But if you keep the camera rolling, Ray stops and looks at me. And there's a pause. And I go, because that's a sinister thing to do because we're making a joke out of this whole thing. And I go, yeah, I get it. He goes, now you could end the scene there. But if you leave the camera rolling, God. Ray says, Francis, you really ought to see someone. And so that's what they did. He took this 1/8 of a page scene and he did all of that.
Yeah.
And they had 2 cameras on it so it could cut back and forth. And what Marty ended up cutting was he shoots her, she falls. He says, geez, she fell funny.
Right.
And Ray looks at him and says, Francis, you really ought to see someone.
Right.
So, but he just gave him all of these options.
Right.
As dark and as sick as you want to go.
Yeah.
And he's playing a psychotic killer.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so it's just, that's what a great writer looks like.
That's right.
That is so
Fucking
freaking.
brilliant.
But if you keep the camera rolling.
If you keep the camera rolling, that is one of my favorite stories. Oh, you got to go?
Bye, King.
Bye, King.
See you later, Cal.
Well,
She
yeah,
felt
yeah.
funny.
If you keep the camera rolling, then I turn and say, and there's still Jews at my table.
All I know is I just love that line, that story. It's so freaking funny. So The Departed came out in 2006, and then he had a credit only for being in Vanity Fair, Killers Kill, Dead Men Die. And then he did a comedy with what is his name? Morgan Freeman, and called Bucket List.
It's
not a great film.
From the end,
No.
End his filmography on too.
No, it wasn't, and I felt betrayed. I feel like the trailer or the whole marketing plot was about a funny comedy movie, and it wasn't.
And and then just like with Cary Grant, and I love this because Cary Grant did the same thing with his final movie. He plays a character that doesn't get the girl. And he's in the movie How Do You Know? And I actually really do like this film. I really do. It's called How Do You Know? Starring Reese Witherspoon, Owen Wilson, Paul Rudd, and Jack Nicholson. And it is really fucking funny. And I get a kick out of Owen Wilson's character, but it's the relationship building between Paul Rudd's character and Reese Witherspoon. And as much as I probably think she's a see you next Tuesday in real life, she is just so lovable on screen. I don't know what it is about her. She has just a presence that I just really dig her characters. She's always fun and always enjoyable. I love her when she lets her Southern accent come through. Just really good stuff. And I like that film. And Paul Rudd's really good in it. He's that average guy. And Nicholson, that was it. That was his final movie. And
55-year career.
I like that, man. It's like that is 6 decades he worked.
That's enough. And it's okay to retire when you're in your 70s. I mean,
and he still, in my opinion, starred in one of the greatest neo-noir films ever made, is Chinatown. And it is absolutely my favorite Nicholson film of all time, followed by As Good as It Gets, About Schmidt, and then the list goes on from there for whatever was good. But number one will always be Chinatown. I love that town. I mean, that ending when he's standing there, and she's dead, the cop shot her, and the daughter's screaming. the daughter's sister. She's screaming, and John Huston, the abuser, come on, the way he does, he wraps her, and he's been shot. He's been
Give
wounded
me
himself.
That I still have. What a sicko!
Oh,
I mean,
sick. He is so sick, and Nicholson is like, I can't remember what he says. He mumbles something, and the cop says, "What? What did you say?" And he doesn't repeat himself, and he says, "Do your friend a favor and get him out of here." And they grab him. Come on, Jake, come on, man. As they turn around, he stops and turns and looks back one more time, and his photographer says, "Forget it, Jake. This is Chinatown." Great fucking ending.
Yep. And then
that is how you win a detective movie, with a great one-liner. I mean, Mickey Spillane made a career of that. It just, have you guys ever read Mickey Spillane?
No.
Mickey would just like the jury, God, he would have these great lines like at the end of it, the femme fatale is like trying to convince him that she's on his side, and then he shoots her because he knows that she was the killer, because in secret she was actually a man. And that's how the book ends. Juno was a man. That's the last line of the book.
Oh wow!
The jury,
psychic. Juno was a man.
And at the end of I the Jury, a great last line. He shoots the woman before she shoots him, and she looks at him. She goes, "How could you?" And she slumps to the floor dead. And the last line of that book. Does anybody know that one? Anybody? Anybody? Audience? No. The last line was, "It was easy."
oh God.
I fucking love that line. Like, how could you? It was easy. Tough bare knuckle fucking Mike Hammer, man. And Philip Marlowe did the same stuff. So did Sam Spade. They had great one. I love the Thin Man stories with Nick and Nora Charles. Love the movies. Love the short stories and books. Perry Mason. But Nicholson did a film in 1974, Chinatown, that kind of outdid all those great noir films. And they call it neo-noir. But to me, it's a film that I tell people, if you watch that movie, watch it in black and white. It's really well lit. It's lit well. The DP in that film was really good. So you can actually watch that in black and white, and it kind of feels natural in black and white. Not so much with the sequel. Very not much. Harvey Keitel's in that, by the way. The two Jakes. He plays the other Jake. Kind of a gangster. And it's a really good story. I don't want to spoil that one either, but it leads to a great conclusion. And I think what made the film flop was how he directed the final scene in the film, because it does that rush zoom back up to him as he yells for the girl's name. She's all grown up now. The Faye Dunaway's daughter from the first film is all grown up, played by not Meg Foster. What's her? Meg. Oh, crud. I forgot her name. Give me a sec. I'll go get it. Her sister still acts. Meg Tilly.
Oh.
Jennifer Tilly, and Meg quit acting. She just became a mom and lived her life. Whereas Jennifer continued acting and was in a lot of good TV shows and movies. She was more made famous by the Chucky films because she was the bride of Chucky. And she became part of the common lexicon because of her involvement and stuff like that. But great cast. Even remember me talking about this one, Anima? Richard Farnsworth is in that.
Yeah.
The cowboy actor who started out as a stuntman.
Mm-hmm.
What's this? I think that what made Jack Nicholson such an iconic actor is how he first starred in 2 Roger Corman films. He starred in 2 was in 3, but worked with him on more than that because he was actually involved with that first film he was in, The Crybaby Killer, which is that's where he met Roger Corman. And they had kind of a partnership friendship from there. And he learned a lot from Corman. Corman taught him a lot. And I think it's what he learned off of him there that led to so many cool things happening in his career. So yeah, you're not wrong, Slasher Fred. You are not wrong.
We have so many actors that basically Roger Corman helped make like half the careers in Hollywood, as far as I can tell.
Yeah, we wouldn't have a James Cameron. We wouldn't have Rob Bottin. Now, we would have got Rick Baker. But Rick Baker is all thanks to John Landis. That's how his career got started, is working with John Landis and Dan O'Bannon. And Rick got jobs thanks to working with him. James Cameron, Bottin worked on Roger Corman stuff. God, so many actors too came up through the Corman camp. I always look at Corman and Dale Dye kind of in the same light because so many actors learned how to be better actors having worked with those people, Dale Dye and Roger Corman. I feel that they made better actors.
I knew a guy who used to work with Corman, though he did pass away, Forrest Chadwick.
What was he in?
I think I'm trying to remember exactly what he worked on. Hold on, pull back up his. Maybe let's see. Laura Boogie. Also, he almost did the Buckaroo Bonsai car. He almost did that. But one of the things he had mentioned out was that Corman had like 10 rules, and I don't even know what they all were. But he had like 10 rules of like filmmaking that he had like scratched on like a bedpost that he always followed through.
Yeah, it's because of his frugal filmmaking. It's what got him fired when he worked on that film, Major Dundee, that Sam Peckinpah took over, and because he kept trying to save the studio money. And it was freaking the studio out that he was doing that, and they fired him over it. He says, "We don't need this extra water truck. We don't need these extra lights. We don't need this." He goes, "Take them back. We don't need to be spending that money on that. All we need is this." And they're like, "What's wrong with you, man? We're giving you everything you need. Why are you rejecting stuff we're giving you?" And it freaked him out. They fired him. It was one chance to really work on a studio picture again. But Corman was better on his own. I got to be honest. I like what he did. I like how he did what he did. I mean, a lot of people don't know that James Cameron did visual effects. And his first serious gig was working for, outside of Corman, was working for John Carpenter on Escape from New York. He did some of the visual effects for the glider going into the city.
He did the whole city, if I remember right, and they used tape and just to make
tape, and then and made it look like it was glowing. And it was really cool what he did. Very clever to make it look like a computer simulated thing when they couldn't do computer simulated buildings like that then. Because I remember going to see that, man. It was like I went to the Colonial Theater to see a couple of films when I was that age. One of them was American Werewolf in London, and the next one was Escape from New York. I think they were a year apart, and I'm trying to remember which one came first. Let me look it up real quick. (1981) for Escape. American. Seems like that was 1980. No, same year. They came out the same year. I saw both of them in the same theater. Apparently only months apart. That's why I guess they stick in my head like that. Because Colonial Theater normally had like the Apple Dumpling Gang kind of movies, for kids. Then they showed two classic films like that.
Look who's here.
Hi, Janet. Thanks for stopping by. I appreciate it. We're about to wrap up because we're pretty much done. Anima needs to go to bed. It's like, what, 3? Is it 3 o'clock? 3 o'clock.
No, quarter past 2. Quarter past 2.
Quarter past 2. It's
But
past the
late
bedtime.
enough.
And you know that Austrians become ostriches after 3 a.m.
Shut up.
Or is it emus?
That was so funny, I forgot to laugh.
Yeah, right?
The 70s called and they want that stupid joke back.
Fuck you, Gerry.
I just was making my humor tailored to, make you feel at home.
I appreciate you stopping by. You can rewind it back because we talk about a lot of films and a lot of Nicholson. I guess before we go, I do want to point out that as interesting a guy as he is, he's had a topsy-turvy life. He could not be monogamous is one of the biggest problems of his life.
That was
And it
one of the
robbed
things
him.
that broke my heart finding out about him, that he was that way.
Yeah, he couldn't. He wanted to be a player, and Angelica Houston was willing to let it slide, but when he made that one girl pregnant,
17 fucking years she put up with that.
yep, and he knocked this girl up, and that was it. That was it for her. She couldn't do it anymore. Couldn't put up with him. Still loves him. They still have a great relationship, but man, she couldn't put up with that shit anymore, and left him. And what's worse is the girl that was born from that relationship is the one that was treated so badly by Nicholson. He denied her all that shit, and but he's close with, I think, 3 of his kids. I don't know if there's any communication with the youngest one. She's 29 now, maybe 30, in her first 30s. His oldest one is in her 50s now.
I think he has 6
And that was with
kids.
his marriage. He was from his first marriage. And then he had 2 more kids who are in their, I think, 40s now. And he has a great relationship with them. But and what he found interesting is that they like going to sport events with him. So there's a bit of narcissism with him, I suspect. That it's like they need to like doing what he likes doing, is what I think is. And you look, I've said it, you can't be that fucking gifted and not be a little fucking nutty.
Yeah.
You got to be off somehow. And we know where his weakness is. And it's really sad. It's tragic. I don't know if he's ever made up with the youngest. I think she's around 30 now. And she is clearly his kid. But he just seemed to just completely like wall it off. Don't care. And I don't think that's right. I think you should be good to your kids, and show them love and respect.
It's not their fault.
Nope, it's not theirs.
Nope.
But anyway, so he's had a rough life. Finding out again that his mother was actually the woman he called his sister. Never finding out who his father was, because everybody died before he could be told. And it just it's a tragic life. He had a tragic life, and look what he did with it. And he he's a great fucking actor, and I consider him one of the greatest actors, not the greatest, but one of the greatest actors of the 20th century, American.
Triumph and tragedy. I think that's the best way to put it. Triumph and tragedy.
And he's not going to be forgotten anytime soon. I mean, like I said, a movie he made in 1980, technically 79, got released in 1980, is still being debated. And I guarantee you it's going to be debated for a long time. I guarantee it.
Jack Nicholson's Blade Runner.
Yeah, I never read anywhere. I talked to Katie Haber this week, and I asked her, because Dustin Hoffman was up for the part of Deckard. And I said, hey, Katie, how close did he get? And she goes, not very. I'm like, okay. Because I know that he was considered, he's in some of the storyboards. There are certain storyboards that have Deckard looking like Dustin Hoffman for that reason, because he was one of them that was really eyeing the role. They were negotiating, and he was kind of going, yes, I think I'll do this. And then something happened and he backed out last minute. And I can't even remember what the hell it was. But I never heard about Nicholson being up for it. But I know there are plenty of roles that he turned down. The Godfather was one.
I wasn't joking that he was up for Blade Runner. I was saying you talk about being like his movie being hotly debated. So it's like, oh, so it's Jack Nicholson's Blade Runner.
Hey, Jedi Bill's in the house.
Hey, Jedi Bill. Hey, man, we're about to end. Thanks for popping in. And I do want to thank again our good friend. Let me find it real quick. It's still in there, isn't it? Yes, here it is. I want to thank RRTNZ, our friend in New Zealand, who, basically he's in the future. It's tomorrow already in
I'm in the future.
Australia.
It's tomorrow here.
That's right. You're in the future too.
Yeah.
And my future's so bright, I've got to wear shades. I want to thank you again for your New Zealand $5. That was really nice. And it's good to see Annie Morrow is still a member. Love to see that. Thank everybody for stopping in today. Let's see who all did stop in. Penny, D. Bud Martin, DJ Play Nice, Andy Morrow, Kingsport Cal, FKHC 2005, aka Tim. Glenn Fleming stopped in to say hi. RRTNZ, Slasher Fred, and of course Janet from Another Planet stopped in, which is always nice to see you. I deeply appreciate it. And of course, last but not least, Jedi Bill popped in here at the end. We had a great show. I do want to point out that he turned down the role of Michael Corleone, but he also turned down another role, and I can't remember what the hell it is. Let's see. He turned down a role in Bonnie and Clyde, a role in The Bonfire of the Vanities, thank God. Big Fish, which I think was a great film. Tim Burton offered him a role. Batman Triumphant, thank God. Bad Santa, I think he might have been fun in that. Here's the big one right here. Apocalypse Now, the Martin Sheen role.
Ooh.
He just felt that it was going to be too complicated. He'd want to be flying over there to the Far East to be shooting a film in the jungle.
Given
That
what
turned him
happened on
off.
that shoot, yeah, he might have.
Yeah, he had a fucking heart attack. Martin Sheen had a heart attack. And they got it on camera. Annie, he turned that role down. And it went to Albert Finney instead to play Daddy Warbucks. And he turned down the part that De Niro took in Angel Heart as the devil. And I kind of wish that Nicholson had played that. That would have been interesting to see him as the devil in
He
that.
played the devil already. Maybe that was enough for him.
That was later. Angel Heart was before.
Oh. Okay.
Witches of Eastwick. So, and he's a demon. He's not the devil. He's a demon. Good stuff. Nicholson's just this unforgettable actor, and he is one of my favorite actors to watch. And is one of his movies is in my top 10 list. Chinatown. I just don't get a better film than that.
Rightfully so.
Penny, thanks for dropping by. Jedi Bill, thanks, bro. Janet, of course, always appreciate it. And everybody else that popped in, I said your names already. I deeply appreciate it, and thanks for the support there, RRTNZ. It keeps the flag behind me.
Do you want to give away our celebrity for next month for May?
Yeah, you can do it.
We've chosen already. I mean, I'm making a list and then we choose together. It's going to be Clint
I just got a feeling that it's one of those squinty-eyed tough guys.
Clint Eastwood.
Nice.
Why don't you lay there and bleed a while before you taste some real pain?
Dude, I made the list and his name came up, the very last one, because his birthday is May 31st. I was like, yeah, that's it. That's him. I wasted like an hour of research and then I found him. I was like, yeah, that's the winner. Done.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Absolutely. So I'm going to go back here and we're going to end the show differently this time. I'm going to end with the opening because I liked making that little video homage to Nicholson. It was a lot of fun. So I'm going to play that on the way out. So everybody have a great day. And I will not be here for TGIF tomorrow. I have a doctor's appointment, so I'm going to miss TGIF. So I hope everybody has a good time and enjoys the show. Going to have some interesting subjects this week. That's all I got to say. Some of it dealing with Henry Cavill and some of it dealing with a guy he worked with named Alan Richardson. I'm just saying. A lot of news. So have a great night, guys.
No novocaine. It dulls the senses.
I married a banana. I married a fucking banana. Or do they teach you to talk like this in some Panama City sailor want a hump bar? Or is this getaway day and your last shot at his whiskey? Sell crazy someplace else. We're all stocked up here.
You want answers?
I think I'm entitled.
You want answers?
I want the truth!
You can't handle the truth. Can somebody tell me what kind of a girl